Okay, hi guys. Today, what I'm going to do is quite simply, I'm going to live record some interviews, and I'm talking, this is 6 hours worth of interviewing I'm doing back to back of 30-minute interviews. I'll share top parts of that with you so you can see how I interview, what I do, and also as well, hopefully it's going to help you learn about maybe the process that we go through in the VA Academy, but maybe if you're looking to hire, maybe some questions that I ask and how I structure my interviews, and hopefully it's going to help you in your Amazon business. Stay tuned. Okay, so today I am basically going to record a series of videos of me doing interviews, live interviews of candidates who have applied for sourcing roles as part of the VA Academy. Now, we have quite a good process down. We have a really good track record of finding good candidates. And one of the things we do kind of before they get to this stage is we ask them to apply and we ask them to complete a test. Now, the reason why we do this is basically we want to know, are they able to do the job? And once they get to do the job, i.e. they score well in our test, then we want to know, are they the right kind of person we want to hire? Are they going to be right for our clients? And then finally, we want to know, is the job going to be right for them? So today, during these interviews, what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to be having the interview with the candidate. You're going to watch that. I'll trim out a couple of points or maybe hide some information that might be a bit sensitive, but then you'll be able to see a quick summary of my thoughts afterwards, which is going to give you a bit of an insight into a very quick, and I mean a very quick rough analysis of these candidates that I'm interviewing. Now, if I put it in perspective, these videos, these interviews, they have been recorded literally in a 6-hour window. I have done back-to-back 30-minute interviews, non-stop, no breaks, nothing. One interview, next interview, next interview, next interview, next interview, and I've recorded them all for you now and done a quick summary afterwards. And I do this every single week with all of my clients who are looking to hire a VA from the FastTrackFBA Academy. And this is the real value that I can bring to the hiring process. You know, we are looking for the right candidates. Once we get the right candidate, we can then train them and they're going to deliver. But the first things first is get the right candidate. And this is where I add real value in finding who I like and, hey, who maybe might be good, but just not right. So we'll talk through that process now, and hopefully you're going to learn something from these interviews. Let's get started. Okay, so just want to start off and just say, look, first things first, thank you very much for applying for the role. And hey, taking the time to do the test, really good of you. And hey, look, well done for getting this far. And it's great to have a conversation with you today. So what I want to go through today is very much about getting to know you, who you are as a person. I'll also take some time to talk a little bit about the business, and then also we'll talk a little bit about the role and the job that you'll be doing as well, obviously, if you're successful. But if you just give me 2 seconds, what I'm going to do is just load up my notes and just make sure that I can actually take some notes down while we're doing it. So
okay,
just double check. I've got a copy of your CV. I think you sent that through on the link.
Yes.
And I think the first question I'll just ask is, tell me a little bit about yourself and who you are.
For my work experience, I have been in the call center industry here in the Philippines for 9 years, 4 years as a customer service representative and technical support representative, and then 5 years as a communications and product specific trainer for 2 different companies. And then I've also had virtual assistants experience as a freelancer or a part-time. That's for Amazon and eBay. So we technically do process orders, process RMAs or refunds, and then would filter negative feedbacks for customers, and then would also do data scraping and data scrubbing, and as well as submitting emails to different customers.
So if I just clarify, and I want to make sure I'm clear, my understanding of the work you were doing for him as a freelancer in the Amazon world, in the eBay world, was looking for orders which had been purchased from their store and then fulfilling them through a third-party warehouse, like a warehouse in the UK.
Yes.
And then also just feeding back customer messages and customer complaints. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I also have, he also asked me to answer chats through Talk.
Okay.
So if there are any questions there, then I'll have to answer. So that's the reason why within 24 hours, I have to at least log in 2 hours a day to check if there are any unanswered questions.
Okay, fine. So let's just kind of move back on to your last work, which is operations trainer, project information, and business development. So was that, where are you based? Oh, you're Davao City.
Yes.
So was that work at home? Was that on site? How did that work?
Office-based.
Office-based. Okay, fine. And you said how did that work with managing your children? Because you said you've got 2 kids and you're a single mum at the moment.
I really don't know how did I manage it. It's just that I really have to do 2 jobs in a day. That's the reason why I'm even also shocked that I was able to do that. So after my office job, I would log in first and check if there are any questions or unanswered inquiries, and then if there are any orders are fulfilled, and then after that, they'll have to be on mommy mode.
Okay. And how old are your children, may I ask?
Eldest is 9 years old. My youngest is turning 2 years old.
Okay. Well, congratulations. That's lovely. And for you, what happened to your 9-year-old? I can kind of gather they might look after themselves, but a 2-year-old, do they get looked after by the 9-year-old while you're at work?
I'm actually living with my parents. That's the reason why it was also kind of helpful, because they would also help me look after them, especially for my youngest child.
Okay, so let me just ask, how did you find the test?
Since there is already like a video tutorial, I just follow the instruction and it's actually just okay. It's just really easy if we base it on the video tutorial that I watched.
Okay. And if I put it in perspective, the test is very, very representative of the work you'd be doing. So if I put it in perspective, is that 98% of the work you'd be doing is exactly the same as the test. And if I make it even clearer, is to say you are literally going to a store, finding a product, going to Amazon, finding the same product, working out the profit and the margin. And if it meets certain criteria, great, put it forward. If it doesn't, then carry on. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that basic concept of copy, paste, check is what you'd be doing 98% of your time, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I'm going to be honest, it's boring. Like, it's not the most exciting. How would you be with that?
I really didn't find it boring, because with that type of task, it's actually interesting because you have to, it's really challenging, especially that you really have to make sure that the item that you're looking at is the same as the item that you're trying to find in Amazon, because there are there are products wherein the picture is the same, but it's the quantity and then the quality is different, especially with the Palmolive shampoo that you had during the test. I was quite confused because the picture is actually different from the ones in the Amazon website, but when I checked the product description, it actually stated the same. Then that's the reason why I chose that. So for me, it's really not kind of boring. It's still challenging because you have to make sure it's the same item.
Okay. And if you want to know the test, we put some challenging products in there to see how you react. Because obviously, if they're all easy, you would be like, how do we differentiate the people who can deal with challenging without us telling them about it, and those who can't? So I think if you're going to ask, if the question is how well did you do, well, you did well enough that you got here. So that's the answer you need to know. Okay, fine. The work is very representative of the test, i.e. copy and paste. There is more to it than I won't deny. It's about how we speed you up and do the analysis. And what we teach is the analysis. That's it. But that general method of, copy, paste, find, review a deal, that is what you are doing 98% of the time. And then there's some analysis off the top end of that. So I think, look, from my perspective, I've got a number of interviews to get through. So what I'll do is I will get back to you Monday or Tuesday next week, and we'll let you know if you're successful or if you're unsuccessful. And then from there, obviously, we'll let you know the next steps. Initial thoughts on her, really. Yeah, I liked her. I thought she's good. I've got no problem with her. The fact that my only one concern would come for the fact that she is she wants, well, she had 28,000 per month. She was getting $5 an hour in a part-time job, and now we're going to be offering her less. That's a concern, because it basically means she might be looking for another job. But I'd just say it's something to be careful of. But on the flip side is to say that she was working on site and she'd have travelling costs, and now she's going to be at home and have flexi time. So there's an element there. But she's aware of the Amazon process. I'm not saying she's done Amazon sourcing. She's had 2 contracts ended quite recently, but she's had long-term jobs for them. So I like stability in that. She's a stay-at-home mum. If we can give her flexi time, that's really going to work. And she talked about the test not being boring, and even talked about the differences in like the labels, which was quite nice to see. So she picked up on that. So generally nice person, seems to be right. Interesting enough, on our time test she did really well, so definitely happy to put her forward. Quite liked her. That's my feedback.
First things first, I've got your CV. Thank you very much, and I'd probably just say, tell me a little bit about yourself and who you are.
I'm already married. I've been in a marriage for about almost 3 years now. So I have 2 kids, and of course, I'm a working full-time mom. So at the same time, as a virtual assistant before, I was working before as a customer service representative in one of the BPO industry here in the Philippines, which is more dealing with professors and students. So I was handling about their online courses. So helping them to, especially the students, walk them through on how to do some online registration, and for the professors as well, helping them as well on how to create their courses, or if they need any help or assistance with the online courses that they're creating for their students. And after that, I resigned, and then I tried to work in this online job. So my first online job is I work as a virtual assistant in a real estate industry, which is my past employer was based in the USA. So I was helping her about all the properties that she has, like, for example, listing properties to their database, and as well as doing some data entry. And aside from that, also helping her or providing some technical support. And then as a virtual assistant, I worked for her for about, I think, almost a year, 10 months. I think that was 10 months. And after that, I also worked as a virtual assistant in an Amazon drop shipping. So in the resume or in the CV that you've seen, the Amazon drop shipping and AB drop shipping, I work in the same client or the same employer. Oh. So I work in Amazon drop shipping for about September. That was September to June. So probably that was 9 months or 10 months, I think. I'm not really sure. So yeah, as in the Amazon drop shipping, I do some order fulfillment and product listing and processing refunds, what else, and doing as well as a email customer support in the Amazon Central. I forgot Amazon Central. Yeah, that's the thing, and yeah, doing some customer support. And since then, there was a problem in the store. Though the store was very progressing, it was working really well, but then I think I'm not sure, it was all about the intellectual property, something like that has a problem. So my past employer created a new store, which is eBay, and he wants to work with me in an eBay drop shipping. So I was working with him for about, that was June to November June, July, August, September, October, for about 5 months in that eBay store. And the store was really good, very progressing. So my work as an eBay dropshipping, it was still the same, working in an Amazon in his store. So I was doing the email customer support as well, and doing product listing and processing refunds and order fulfillment. So in the Amazon and eBay dropshipping, we source products from Walmart. And in the eBay, we both eBay store, we source products from Walmart and Amazon. So yeah, that's where we source the products. And what else I can add to that? Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, I think that's all. And yeah, I forgot the software we are using in the Amazon. It was the arbitrage suite, or how will you pronounce that? At arbitrage suite or arbitrage suite in the Amazon. Yeah, and in the eBay for the product listing or product research, we use the software Zik Analytics. And aside from the Zik Analytics, we use for in the product listing, we use the software which is the SKU Grid or SKU Fetch.
How was the test, may I ask?
Sorry.
Do you remember doing the test?
Actually, I just want to be honest. I forgot which test, because since I applied to many jobs, so since there are a lot of tests, so I forgot which one of those.
Okay. So if I put it in perspective, you would have watched a small video of me, and you'd had 3 sample questions, and then you'd have done 10 questions afterwards. It'd be a Google form, and most likely you would have gone to like Walmart, looked at a couple of products, and then gone to Amazon, and then used the Amazon calculator to work out the profit and the margin on it. Do you remember doing that?
Okay. I remember doing that thing. Okay.
And how was it for you?
For me, it's fine. It's a nice. That since I already have that background about the Amazon and Walmart doing some outsourcing, so it's not really confusing for me, because I already have that idea. And for me, it's not technically easy, but then it's far more easier for me to do that kind of task.
Okay, fine. And look, if I had to put it in perspective, your the test is very representative of the work. I.e., if you're going to be successful, that work that you'd be doing is very, go to Walmart, for example, or a UK store, find a product, find the same product in Amazon, and then copy and paste. And it's literally, if I put it in perspective, that copy paste, find it in Amazon, is 98% of what you're going to be doing. Like 98% of what you're doing. It's a lot of work. How would you feel doing that every day?
Well, it's okay since I'm used to it in working in a repetitive task. I'm used to it, so it's fine with me working in that job every day.
Okay. Question for you quickly. When you were doing your Amazon eBay, you worked flexi time. That seems quite valuable to you. You quite like that, and especially as a mum, I can really understand that. You worked about 25 hours a week. Why didn't you work any more?
Sorry, why?
Why didn't you work any more hours per week?
Oh, okay. Because, I also, at the same time, I was, at that time, during that period, my husband, we started just a small business like, while my husband is working in this online job, at the same time, he also worked as a computer technician. So we had a small business, and working in that, we have a printing, so students are coming in. And then we also have a small computer shop before, like internet cafe, but not really internet cafe. So part-time, at the same time helping him with that small business. But then we we stopped doing that business again. So
Why?
aside, one reason is the one that we are renting before is quite expensive for us, and at the same time, for those computers, we're also renting it, so we're not the owners of it. So, we're paying for that one, and for the electricity, it's the power is expensive. It's quite high, so we cannot deal on it, and we can see that this is not really working for us, so we stop it.
Okay, hey, that's cool. Hey, it's good. And hey, well done to you for trying. Like generally, me to you, well done. You've got to take a risk in life. You don't understand unless you try. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions you want to ask me?
Okay. So for one question, I was thinking about, because earlier I forgot, I was thinking about where did I applied for this job. So I was thinking about the Fast Track. Is it the one which is based in the UK, right?
Yes, that's correct. We are UK based. Yeah.
Okay, so how will I know if I'm hired? Are you going to?
I've got a lot of interviews today, but I will let you know whether you're successful or not on Monday or Tuesday next week.
Yes, because a lot of the things that I applied, they told me that okay, I'll let you know, but then after that, there's no signal.
That's fine. I understand. Have you got a notepad on your computer?
Yes, I have.
Can you do me three things? So I'm just going to ask you to write these down quickly.
Okay, sure.
Number one, can you? Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Number one, can you go onto your computer and take me? I want you to send all three of these in the email, by the way, to me.
Okay.
So, number one, can you send me a copy of your computer specs?
Okay.
Number two, can you go online speed test?
Okay.
And then number three, I don't know what your home working environment looks like. I don't know what that is. Obviously, I don't live where you are right now. So can you get your phone, take a couple of photos of your working environment? I want to see the desk, the chair, what it looks like, and then put that, like 3 or 4, maybe from different angles in the room, and then send me a copy of that in the email as well.
Oh, okay, sure.
Fantastic. Any final questions before we finish?
I think that's all that I've asked you before.
Brilliant. All right. Well, look, thank you very much, and I'll be in contact next week.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. Okay. Bye. Have a great week.
So yeah, generally okay. I'm happy with that. My initial thoughts were a bit worried about why she was only working 25 hours a week when she needed the money, but it turned out that she'd set up another business, which kind of answered that. Some experience in Amazon, but she's got awareness. So, I wouldn't call that experience in Amazon. It's just she's aware of the ecosystem. Doesn't really mean anything. Interesting enough, I probably didn't delve into it. I would question very much around some of her previous work and how long she'd worked in them. She's got, 1 or 2 quite short dates. But, she's a new mum. She's got 2 kids. She looks at a family at home. Husband's just got a job. And, seems quite stable. Seems to work quite hard. And then I would just base it solely on the test results. I've got nothing wrong with her. And I think, nice person. Can get on with her. And she seems to take it on. Probably talks a little bit, but I can see that by the time. But hey, that's my only thoughts. Generally good. No problem there. And just some of the feedback. I've got a copy of your CV, and I'd say that first things first, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am 29 years old, and I am married with 2 children. One is 3 years old, and one is 3 months old. I just gave birth.
Congratulations.
Last year. Yeah, thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your work experience that you've done.
Well, before switching to home base, I have worked for 4 years in 2 various construction companies as an admin secretary, admin clerk, and then one of my duties were keeping our files up to date and organized, like construction materials files, expense like payrolls and our miscellaneous expense, and then our legal documents like taxes and certificates. I am responsible for keeping them up to date and well organized. And then site visits, and then data entry, and that's all. And then when I was pregnant with my first child, I have to give up my career to be a full-time mom. And then I realized being a stay-at-home mom is not well, it's not enough for me because I have been working ever since I finished my college. I have been working. So while taking care of my baby, I decided to switch to freelancing, and that was when I first landed my very first job, which was a data entry clerk in an e-commerce company called LMS Sales and Consulting. I was hired as a part-time during that time, 2 to 3 hours per day. I do product research and sorting out products from Amazon that was sourced from another VA. Well, I sort out those Amazon products using the tools Kipa and Jungle Scout, and then after that I do product repricing and product inventory using the inventory lab and Be Cool. And while doing that job, I landed my second job, which was a full-time. That was an internet research assistant. That was basically pretty much the same with the other one, but yeah, I do product search also, but it was different. It was all about books, second-hand books. My clients, that was my client's business. She will then give me instructions and criteria for me to find out profitable products for her. And then, but I was pregnant with my second child, so I have to let go of my 2 jobs. And then after giving birth, I retained my third job. Actually, I retained my third job. I am currently working as a VA again. But I retained my job. They're paying me quite good enough for me to, yes, help my husband sustain our needs. And then, but that was a part. But I am working for them for part-time. That's why I am looking for a full-time today.
And how many hours a week are you doing with them?
I am working 2 to 3 hours a day for them, 5 days a week.
Okay. Are you looking to take on a full-time job to replace that, or are you looking to take a full-time job in addition to that?
Well, I am looking for a full-time job to replace that, and then have my younger brother take over my job as a VA.
This job that you've applied for, how many hours a day is it?
8 hours a day.
Okay. And you have 2 children. How old is your youngest child?
About 3 months old.
Cool. So, quick question for you. Your current situation is exactly the same as what it was back then? Or is it different?
It was a slight different because I have a nanny.
Now you got a nanny?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you've got such an easy life. No, you haven't. It's hard.
I have prepared myself before looking for a job, because I don't want to be I don't want to be fired or something because I don't have a nanny to take care of my children. That's why before applying to jobs on online jobs website, I have to take care of few things for me to be able to work full time.
Okay. How was the test?
Oh, the test is pretty easy for me because there's an instruction. There's a via video on YouTube. Yeah, and it's quite easy for me to, because I've been, as I've said a while ago, I've been working a repetitive task. I've been working with instructions given to me. So I am quite, my understanding to instructions is quite high. I get to easily understand those instructions, and if my test task went well, then I guess that shows.
Well, you're here today, so that speaks volumes about how well you're tested, because if you didn't do well, you wouldn't be here having a conversation with me. So relax. Okay. I think, look, the reason why I ask about the test is very, very, very representative of the work. So go to a store. Now, I think in the test we might say Walmart, but in the real life, it would be UK-based stores. Go to Walmart, find a product, go find the same product in Amazon, work out the profit and the margin, and then if it meets the criteria, great, do some more checks, but if not, carry on. Now, you are doing that all the time, 60 times an hour, 120 times an hour, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, forever and ever and ever and ever. They might change in like a year's time, but if I just say that is all you are going to be doing 98% of the time, it's boring. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. How would you feel about doing that?
It's okay for me. It's all right.
Okay, so interesting interview there with Jen, and she's got Amazon experience before, and I'm always wary of people with Amazon experience. I'm like, why? What's going on? Hey, the question I always ask is, if you've got previous experience in doing this, why are you looking for a job? Because, my God, you find deals which make you profit, and that works. So you kind of talked through a little bit about her experience. I just want to bring up a CV because obviously it's going to reference to me. Now, she had kind of like overlapping jobs. She had something going on at present, and a couple of red flags, or not red flags, warning flags, should we say, popping up, especially when they've currently got a job. Like, why are you looking for another one? She dealt with the current job really well. She's got her brother. She wants the brother to take over. It's only part-time, and actually interesting, the brother's already done it, and the brother's being paid already. So really good response there. Really liked that. She's like, she wants to work. She's a stay-at-home mum. Interesting enough, she had to quit her last job because she had to take care of her child. But interestingly enough, her last child, but now she's got a new child and she's already aware of this, and she's got a live-in nanny. Or not a live-in nanny, she's got a nanny to help take care of it, which is really good. I also know the client in regards to the client we're looking to hire her for, and I know there's a lot of flexibility in their working arrangement. So that's going to be quite good for her, and that's going to work quite well. And then also as well, just kind of delving into her background, what she's done, the work, I can kind of get a feel for the work that she's done. Like she's been reviewing drop shipping products on Amazon using some tools that I'm aware of, and then she's had to do some keeper reviewing on books. Again, that's drop shipping. So that was super interesting just to kind of have a feel for that. And then finally, it's like for us to say, what's the reason for leaving? And hey, she's quite honest. I just found it too much. I had to do 1,000 ASINs a day. And hey, yes, we want our VAs to work fast and hard, but we're not slave drivers. And I think sometimes is to say that it's very much when you're doing like arbitrage, isn't about sheer brute force, i.e. do this 1,000 done. A lot of it is about, actually, we want you to be smart. We want you to look at the stores that got sales on. We want you to plan your time efficiently. So it's not just about brute force, it's about being intelligent. So look, the question comes for me was, she talked through all the concerns that I had, what was going on. She just seemed like a really nice, genuine person, got experience. The hourly rates, what she's looking for or what she'd done in the past are comparable to what we're offering. And hey, I was quite happy with her, and I thought she was quite, very together with it. And hey, we had to kind of, there's a couple of areas that we dig down into, especially around like, having a child, the book sourcing, what was going on, why she left or didn't continue on. And she dealt with them really, really well. So, I've got no flags. She's got good experience, and she's basically ready now to take on a full-time job. She's getting bored, and it looks like it could be a good match. So she can do it. She scored really well on her test, and she seems like a great person, wants to learn, and would probably be an asset. So for us, say yeah.
Hey, so first things first, thank you very much for applying for the role and taking the test. Hey, well done. You got this far, so fantastic. Now, what I just want to go through...
Yeah, is that, I'm sorry, because I applied for a lot of online jobs. Is that the one where I was doing the FBA for Amazon? Is that the one? Which test did did you give? I'm sorry.
So this is for the Amazon role, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Have you had a lot of interviews, a lot of tests?
Yeah, I actually applied for a lot of online jobs, and there were a lot of tests that I got through. So, like yesterday, I had 5 tests like that. So I was just going to clarify it. Yeah.
That's cool. Are they all Amazon-related tests?
Not actually. Others were just like data scraping, like that. And others more on data entry, transcription, like that.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, and I just want to clarify, because obviously you're questioning which job you're currently interviewing for. This is for the Amazon product sourcer, and I just want to ask: do you still want to go ahead? Because you might say, "Oh no, I hated that one. I don't want to do it." Do you still want to go ahead?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I like it. Actually, I enjoyed it. It's just yesterday that I found out about how that FBA is actually, how FBA runs actually. So that's why it's quite interesting, because e-commerce nowadays is very, booming.
Okay. So look, I've got your CV. I think, just tell me a little bit about yourself and the work that you've done.
Yeah. Actually, before my first job, I didn't actually graduate from college because due to, money constraints, I just had I was until 4th year college level. Then after that, I worked in a coffee shop for around 2 years as a supervisor. And then after that, I came back here because I was working in Cebu. I came back here in my hometown, which is in Hinoag City. And then I work as an accounting clerk. And then because I got pregnant, got married, a lot of things happened. So there I actually studied baking, so I spend more time with my kids while having a business on the side there. Then sometimes business is not that not stable because of the baking business, a lot of competition. So that's why I was looking into online and online career. That's why, yeah.
Okay. So if I just clarify, your last job was Office of the City Agriculture.
Yes.
And that was finished 2017, is that right?
Yeah.
And then you left there, why?
Actually, it's just a contractual job. Like if you're just 6 months and they'll stop you and then back again 6 months, like that. Yeah, it depends on the mayor if he will renew you.
I understand. Very normal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you left there, and then what's been the situation since 2017?
Yeah, I was making my baking business at home. I was just in the house taking care of our kids. During that time, I actually had 2 kids, 2 babies. Now they're actually 4, turning 4 this March, and the other one is 1.
Okay, so you got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And how's the bakery business going, by the way?
As what I said earlier, sometimes it's okay, but there are times that it's not that busy. So that's why I prefer to look for online jobs, so I can at least there's something that I can do that's like stable. Like every day I'll do something, because there are times that I'll just I'm waiting for a customer to order or make some cookies, but it's not that the income is not that stable. And sometimes cookies, and I leave cookies in other stores, but sometimes it won't sell. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how long have you been searching for a job, may I ask?
Actually, before I tried online jobs, just a little freelancing jobs, but no, it didn't work out. I just stopped for a while, then go back again. But now, for starting January, actually, I was very persistent in looking for an online job starting January.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How's it gone? How's it been?
Not good actually, because I haven't found any job yet. Yeah, that's what I found. A little like project-based jobs. Like this, what there was one client I have that will just let me check his like schedule if he's on time with his schedule, like a VA actually. But it didn't work out, so he didn't pay me. So okay, I have to stop the job because sometimes that's the difference. It's very hard to look for an online job, especially what you call this. It's very far, so it's very hard to look for a job that someone will really pay you what you deserve there.
Why not expand the bakery business?
Actually, it's a plan, a long-term plan to actually make a store myself, like have an actual bakery, but for now it doesn't it's not yet possible, but hopefully.
Why?
Due to money constraints. I mean, it's not yet, I'm not yet at that time. A lot of bills to pay first, and after that, when all is settled, like I have 3 kids. Actually, I have 3 kids. I just mentioned the two. I have 3 kids, and I'm still like for educational plan like that. I'm just still preparing those things while they're young. While it's still cheaper, they're young. Well, they're young. So when it's all paid, I think that's the time that I'm gonna start with that one.
I'm guessing they're not going to be paid for another. How old are your children? You've got 3. Which one's missing?
11 years old. I have an 11 years old.
Okay, so interestingly enough, you got one that's 1 year old. You're going to have to keep paying for the next 18 years.
Yeah. Actually, there are like I've paid one insurance. I get like 3 years or fourth year. I'm just I'm starting to pay that one, but maybe when I'm ready, a little bit ready, not just fully paid it. Maybe when I'm a little bit ready, then maybe I can start. This business is like it's quite a risk, and I'm not that risky person to put on that big of money while I have 3 kids to like provide for like that.
Quick question for you. When you're during the peak months of your bakery, how many hours a day do you have to work in it?
That's that's very tiring. A very tiring work actually. I have to like in December I don't get enough sleep. Like I have to work at 10 to 12 hours or more than 12 hours because there are a lot of, especially if it's customized cakes. My hands are a little bit dirty because I just made some details for a cake. So there I get to but during December I don't get enough sleep, like 3 hours, 4 hours sleep because I have to prepare this one, that one, then order is like every day I have an order, so there.
No problem. Are there any questions you want to ask me?
Actually, I'm just like curious about the FBA because that's what I mentioned. It's my first time when I took the test. It's my first time that I encountered about the whole like process that one. So are there any, I mean, I know if ever there will be like trainings and everything, but is there like other I heard about Amazon. I haven't researched yet about other, if there are still the same with like same what do you call this process or system with that one as FBA of the Amazon.
FBA is Amazon.
I mean the system, but is there a competition or what do you call that? Other aside from Amazon, is there another like not Amazon, like I don't know? Yeah, like that. I'm not familiar with other. They have also.
I don't understand your question.
Is the FBA is fulfillment by Amazon. So is there a competition for FBA that's using like the same system?
It's not so much competition. It's more about a different way of doing it. It's called fulfillment by merchant, i.e. the merchant fulfill themselves. But it isn't so relevant for what you need to know. We teach you all that in the academy.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No questions. No other questions so far.
That's cool. Okay. Okay. So look, I've got a couple more interviews to do. So what I'll say is I'll take the weekend to kind of think about it all and go through, and I'll get back to you on Monday or Tuesday whether you've been successful or not. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Perfect.
Cool. Fantastic. Well, look, thank you so much for your time. I'll let you get back to baking, and I'll be in contact Monday or Tuesday next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So another interesting interview, and look, oh my God, like where do we start? So admittedly, she hasn't worked for a while. 2017 was her last job, and I'm not against people who have not worked for a while. By her own admission, she'd been raising children. That's fine. I'm really not against that. I think, look, one of my big questions whenever we meet these kind of people is, what's your motivation? What are you trying to do? And it's just quite interesting in regards to like just asking them, you know, there's a big rule in interviewing. The interviewer should be talking 10% of the time, and the interviewee should be talking 90% of the time. And hopefully you kind of see that in what I do. I just ask really open, probing questions and just get them to talk. So what was really interesting, I'm just reading my notes, is number one, she forgot she had a child. She said 2 children initially, and then she had 3. That was quite funny. It might be like a half child, I don't know. Also, as well, we kind of talked about money, like what's the reason you're doing it, and that was a big sticking point. Her pay expectations are way above what we're paying, and that's immediately for me like, hey, are we on the same page here? Because that's red flags, i.e. I'm going to hire you tomorrow, I'm going to put this job forward to you, I'm going to train you up, and then all of a sudden, it's not going to be all of a sudden, you're going to accept this job and then you're going to go look for another job because you need more money. And she gave me a pay expectation or a salary, what she needs, way above what we're offering, and that's going to cause problems. So I know that as well. Interesting how she talked about her business, long-term plans, she wants to grow that business, but right now she's got bills, and I'm just thinking, hey, I'm going to ask you to work 8 hours a day. Why don't you put 8 hours a day into your business? Surely that's going to have more value. You're already getting 30k out of it in a peak month. Admittedly, you're not getting that much in your quiet months, but build it up, you'll get there, and it'll be more worthwhile. But what was really interesting was, you know, just the fact that we asked the probing question, hey, during your peak months, how many hours do you have to work? Her own admission, 10-12 hours a day. On top of that, she's only getting 3 hours sleep. Then the question comes is, my God, if I hire her, she's now going to work 12 hours a day in a bakery because that's her priority over this job. Second of all, she's going to work 8 hours for me, and she's only getting 3 hours sleep at the moment when she's not working a job. That doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. And also as well, in those 8 hours she's working for me, is it going to be viable? Is it going to be that she can get quality work done and produce the results? Or is she literally going to be there for 8 hours, half asleep, not getting the results? Well, I just don't think it. I don't feel it myself. And so because it's not a yes, it's a no. But hey, another interesting interview. Let's go. Next one. Let's get started. So tell me about yourself and who you are.
I'm a father of 2, and my wife is working as a software consultant. And I've been working for over 20 years, so you can imagine how old I am. I'm already 41. And I've been through a lot of work, different types of work, manual, office, outdoors. My last job was an order manager for Alorica, which handles AT&T accounts. And I love to cook. I cook every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I play the guitar in my free time. I love to read, especially mystery books like Stephen King, horror stories, anything like that. I also write horror stories, short stories, but in my native Tagalog. Do you know Tagalog? Yeah, it's in Tagalog.
You're in Manila, the north.
Yeah. That's it. I bike every day. Actually, I just came from my workout this morning. And that's it. If you'd like to know.
And you're just talk me through. So I'm quite interested in your SEO specialist home-based work. Was that full-time, part-time?
I used to be full-time, but since I was getting good at it, it became part-time for me. So I can do side jobs aside from that work.
Well, and they would consider that full-time, is that right?
He considers it full-time, but it's a part-time job for me because it's easy. I think it became easier because I got the mastery of the tools that the client was letting me use. So finding keywords is become, easy peasy.
And then before that, you were a community manager, full-time, I'm assuming?
In Facebook. In Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And full-time, was it?
Part-time also, because I was working in I was a project manager for a LED company before the work that I do in community manager. I was still a project manager in a LED company, the one who supplies LED lighting. I was there for about maybe 7 years. I was working full-time there, and then on my free time, I do the community management work.
You were doing full-time project manager, and then you went to community manager as well at the same time for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Is that right?
Yeah.
Why?
I was getting bored. My work there was project-based. So at the latter part of the years, we got a lot of competition, and projects were 1 or 2 projects in a year. But it's a huge project. Sometimes it's a shopping mall or a warehouse. But sometimes it's 1, 2, 3 projects per year. That's not enough for me because I easily get bored when I'm not doing anything. So my friend from grade school, we had a reunion one time, and then she asked me to, hey, can you do social media work? I said, oh, what do I do there? Put on some witty things and we'll post it. Okay, let me try. So I was there for part-time.
So you left project managing, and then you went to you were doing Facebook and SEO specialist Amazon at the same time, or how did it work? Because obviously you don't have months, you're just giving me years on your CV. It's quite hard to understand what's going on.
I stopped being a project manager 2017 September. So I did give my boss enough time that I told him that I'm leaving the company. There's not enough projects, so he's okay with it because he's getting a few people coming in, and then he let me go. So while I was doing the project management, I was doing the community Facebook community manager on my free time when I'm at home. So after that, I went full-time into, not really full-time because I have some consultation projects on the side because I used to be a project manager for a construction company. So this is an electrical construction company. So sometimes the clients will give me a call and, can you take a look at my wiring, my plans, I do consultation. So that's what I did for a few years. Maybe 1 year. And then after I left the community management, I went to SEO specialist.
And why did you leave being a project manager again?
There's not much to do. I'm bored, and sometimes when you're doing the same thing and it's not happening like you've seen it, you've imagined it, and then your boss tells you, no, it must be done this way, and he's just had a little misunderstanding because things are getting worse at the office. And I told him, maybe you should get another person to do this job and do that job, because I'm doing a lot of job, but as the years went by, my satisfaction is getting lower and lower and going down.
So you left that, and then you went to doing Facebook, and then you left, and then you were probably consulting on the side whilst working full-time-ish at Facebook. Not Facebook, but obviously community manager. And then you quit all that, and then went into SEO specialist. Is that right?
I quit because they had to let me go. They can't pay me anymore.
Why? What happened?
Some of the clients pulled out
Yep.
because it's not my account. The other accounts, they pulled out, and then the owner told me that she's gonna do the things, the work all by herself, starting at that time. So they had to let me go because they have to cut costs.
Okay. How was the test? How did you find the test?
It's easy. All you have to do is copy paste.
Yep.
Then click a button. Then that's it.
98% of what you are going to be doing if you get accepted for the job will be the same as the test, i.e. go to a store, copy it into Amazon, work out the profit. That's it. 120 times an hour, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
And your point is, I'm gonna get bored?
Yes.
No, I don't think so, because that's a lot of work to do. Sometimes you have to lower down your expectation and your pride and your some kind of self-esteem for the self-esteem, and take on another job which entails you to do something that you think is easy for you. But I'm not, I know what you're going to. I know what you're driving at. You're thinking that after 2 months, 3 months, I'll leave because I get bored. If you're gonna give me another type of job, I would be interested too.
Yeah. So if I be honest, this job, i.e. copy and paste, will be what you would do 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, 40 hours a day, 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, for at least the next year. And if I were to say you were to do something else in addition to that, possibly, but I couldn't guarantee that. It's very likely the fact that this is going to be what you'll do for the next year, every day of the week. And you said it, not me. That could be very boring.
Yeah, it could be, but if it pays good, why not? I have no problem with that.
But you don't need the money.
I need the money for myself and, for the kids too. My money goes into utilities and, everyday expenses. And my wife's money goes to school, mortgages, some other bigger things, savings, just like that. So if I don't earn at least 10,000 a month, she will shoulder the utilities in the house, everyday expenses, food, and other things that should be spent inside the house. So that's my participation in our relationship. I do the money, I earn the money for the house, she earns the money for everything else.
Any questions for me?
Question is, what products are you focused on?
Anything that makes money.
Okay. Another thing is, working hours is night shift?
No. Generally speaking, they're like 9 till 5, 9 till 6. A lot of the clients will have flexible time, so i.e. you can work the hours that are going to work for you, so long as the deals are found and they're in at the right time. That's it. So if you want to, get them done, that's the majority of it is flexible, if that makes sense, or 9 till 6.
That would be great. How about payment? Is it through bank, PayPal?
Most likely bank. It could be PayPal, but most likely bank.
Good.
Okay, I've got a lot of interviews to go through today, but what I'll say is leave that with me and I'll be back in contact Monday or Tuesday and I'll let you know whether you've been successful or if you haven't. Makes sense?
Okay.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much.
Nice meeting you. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Okay, interesting conversation there with that VA. Now, what are my thoughts? So, quite simply, like, if I put it in perspective, I was drilling. The one thing is we know they can do the job to a certain extent. We've tested them already, so I'm not so concerned about going into too much detail. But what I'm interested in is about understanding their why. I'm really interviewing about their why. Who are they? What do they do? And why do they want to work this job? Like, I'm not saying they don't want a job, but I'm going to say, is this job right for them? So I'm delving very much around his work experience, what he's done. His CV is written by years, not by months and years, which is really frustrating. And if you ever see some of that, I hate it. I have to kind of go into details. And one thing you'll probably notice about a lot of my questioning is I will ask very obvious questions like, oh, okay, so like, oh, you had this job, when did you leave? And I'm kind of trying to see what they say. Like, do they say what their CV tells me, or are they saying something different? And if they tell me something different, then I'm going to dig into more of that, because interesting enough, people hide things with CVs. They don't tell exact responses. So if like the CV says, oh, March 2018, and they say, oh, I left in 2017, something's not right there. There's something like they've left earlier, and I'm like, why? What's going on? Now, it might be they've just tweaked the dates, but I'm looking for inconsistencies, anomalies, because generally those little white lies are trying to hide something, and I'm trying to get into what they are. But for him, it was very much about, he was in a project manager position, what seemed to be quite a senior position, and I can see his CV and I was like, whoa, quite a lot of position there. And then he went into like doing Facebook online. I can kind of understand, but it was at the same time. And then we kind of touched on this before, but he was doing like Amazon SEO tools, which was great. And I didn't really go into the Amazon too much, but I was quite interested because his salary was so low in that relative to everything else. Hence why I was like, why are you after a job if you're looking at that? I don't understand. And when he talked about his salary expectations, you know, what he's earning as a project manager versus when he went into the online world, massive difference. I think, look, he kind of hit it a bit on the head in the fact that, you know, we're doing copy and paste in this job, and this guy he's had a lot of senior positions. I'm not denying that. He's worked remotely, he's done remote work, which is fine, but I've always seen like he's gone and got other jobs, and my concern would be that he would come into this, he'd get bored, it probably might not be what he's looking for, he'd then go get another job and he wouldn't stay. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy, or he's not going to try hard. I would never deny that. It's not my place to say that. But my question is to say, is this person going to be right for the job we're hiring? And my thought process right now is that actually, you know what, it doesn't scream to me to say, yes, this is going to be a really good fit, I'm really happy with it. It's kind of like, it seems okay. Like, it might work, it might not. And you know what? I don't do it might work or okays. I do, it's a good fit. That's it. If I don't think it's a good fit and I don't like the look of them, and I don't like, I'm not saying I don't like the look of them, I don't like, it doesn't scream to me this is going to be something that's really going to work for them and their life. I'm not so much about me. I already know that, hey, if you can talk to me quite well, you've really proven yourself you can do it, I'm quite happy. I'm now more interested, are you going to work well with us? Is this going to be right for you? If that works, then cool, let's do it. But if it doesn't, and I'm not getting that feel, and for him, you know, we had issues at the very beginning where it was like, oh, I think I've sent my CV, or I don't know how to do it, etc., etc. And I'm just sitting there going, something like sending your CV on Dropbox is causing a real problem. I'm just not really feeling this is going to be like the right thing. You might have a lot of errors. So yeah, I think for me it's a no, only for the fact that I just don't think this is going to be the right work for him. I don't think it's going to work. And I'm not saying, I could be wrong, he could be really good, but I've got to take a gut feeling, and I can only hire one person, and my gut's telling me no. So there you go, that's my thoughts. Hopefully you have found that interesting. Now, let's just put it in perspective. I will pretty much do that every single week. That is, I probably produce 6 hours a week of interviewing. And, you know, the big part of it is we can all look at a CV, we can all kind of have a conversation with someone, but the big part of it is really trying to understand, who are these people? What are they about? What's their life story? Where are they now? What's their why? What is their why? And and I talked about it during a couple of these interviews, is saying it's as much about me interviewing them to say, can they do the job, is to say, do I believe the job is right for them? And do they know it or do they not? So hopefully you've seen some of the interviewing that I've done, some of the questions that I've done, and also just how I conduct them. I'm very relaxed, I'm very chilled, I want to put them at ease, I want to get the most out of them. I'm not here to tell them if they're going to be right or wrong for my job. There is no right or wrong, it's just my interpretation. And that's what I do. Every single week I will be sitting here, I will interview numerous candidates, I'll learn about the market, but also as well, I'm trying to find those diamonds in the rough. I'm trying to find those great people who are going to work for my clients. Now, there are some CVs or some candidates who I've hired for one client that I'd never hire for another client, just because they're in different places. And actually it's about not only finding a VA who can work for the client, who can, should we say, source efficiently, but also as well is going to work for that business. They're going to get on with that client. We're about as much finding good sources as about making matches for the people who are asking us to find them VAs. So that is a super important skill set that I can bring to any process. Now, look, hopefully you have found that information useful. Give me a thumbs up if you do. It just means you like this content. And hey, if you're maybe looking at hiring a VA, have a look down below. I'll drop a couple of links, like online jobs. That's where we do the hiring, and a lot of these candidates, or all these candidates, have come from. And then also as well, maybe you've got some questions, maybe you've got trouble with VA, or maybe like, hey Tom, I don't understand why you didn't hire this VA or something. Drop it down below, and obviously I'll get back to you. But for me, Thomas Parkinson at FastTrackFBA, thank you very much.